characterized by a predictable death, an unforeseen passion, and the impulsive purpose of both duty and identity. Her departure from England for Italy on the book's final page has left generations of readers disappointed in her seeming acquiescence to an unhappy fate. Is she really headed back to Osmond? But James makes no declaration about her motives or intent. All we know is that she has started toward Rome and some undetermined future. The irresolution of this massive novel is the author's deference to the vitality of his protagonist and to the diffidence she must turn into action if she is take to heart the admonition of an undaunted suitor before her departure. You must save what you can of your life. In not imagining Isabel's fate to completion, James grants her a reality few fictional characters ever earn, giving her story a secrecy so profound, a privacy so telling, that it may help readers save what they can of their own. Thank you for that segue into that passage. He wasn't a plant saying that. He hadn't noticed. But I think that that's what's going on. But what about the other characters in the book? It's an interesting thing. You have the whole first section of the book where she's with the Touchett's in England and she inherits her money. And then it turns into a new section and she's already married to Gilbert Osmond. What is that about? What do you think happened to her in the clutches, physical and mental, of Osmond? No takers for that one?
Right. I think that she lost herself and found herself. I think that's what happened. There were two books here.
Yes.
Yeah, it is the first and is the second part. Just as Bronte 2 weeks ago had very definite break stops in the story and in the action because it was serialized and they had to do that. Was this serialized?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so there are breaks that have to be put into it.
Yep.
For the readers, and Dickens, all of them did that. But I think that what she did was she had to hit bottom before she could start to come back up. And Ralph telling her she had to save herself, she realized that she couldn't save herself, but she could save Pansy, his stepdaughter, before Pansy suffered totally the obliteration that had happened to her. She had been totally wiped out by Osmond. And I think she went back, for the previous question, determined to defy Osmond, and if necessary, because she still had her money, don't forget.
Yes.
And she had now a different way of a married woman being able to travel around. She didn't need to have a companion. And I think that what she might be intending to do was to pull Pansy out of that damn convent and take her away from Rome and give her a chance to live, which would be very difficult because Pansy...
Put the mic.
Pansy was totally browbeaten. I mean, Pansy was totally absorbed by her father. She had no self anything. And I think that was what was going on. But I wanted to ask something else also. What happened to Henry James in America that made him hate Americans so much and make Harriet such a parody?
Well, that's a complicated question. I think Henry James moved to England originally to get out of the sphere of his family, which was extraordinarily close and domineering in its way. he was always. It was a very interesting family. There's a marvelous biography of his sister, Alice James, written by Gene Strauss, which is really one of the best biographies I've ever read. And Alice James was the youngest child, and she was for most of her life an invalid in bed, but she was brilliant. And this book brings her mind to life, but also the whole atmosphere of the James family. Henry was really the kind of awkward and inept younger brother of William, who got everyone's attention, and who was a phenomenally great writer in his own right. The varieties of religious experience, which I also write about in my book, and also his letters are spectacular. But Henry was always in the shadow of William. And so I think he went to Europe and to England because he got out of the kind of hothouse of the James family, out of William's shadow, and could be himself. And I also think by disposition, you can tell by reading just about any one of his sentences, he took his time getting from one place to another. And so it was at odds with the kind of generic American go-gettingness, which he parodies in many novels. Not always with disdain, often with a kind of humor, but it wasn't his natural inclination. As he got older and older, in books like Winds of the Dove or The Ambassadors, as wonderful as those books are, this gets to a state where you never think anybody's going to actually say anything because they keep thinking about saying it. It just goes on and on and on. So I think part of it was just his private disposition. And I think for him, it threw into relief the kind of innocence of characters like Isabel or even himself as they try to form a character, become a person,